Well, here I am. I Need to make sure I don't have an echo here on a few things. Made the commitment I was going to do a live stream each day throughout the campaign we've got running here. And I came down with a cold, and I've had a full day of calls. And I'm like, ah, man, why did I make that commitment? So first and foremost, I just want to kind of talk about what it's like as an entrepreneur, that sometimes you have those points in your life where you kind of don't have a lot of juice in the battery. And so what are you going to do? I mean, I could make an excuse, I could not come on here. Instead, I'm more of the opinion. Um, it's going to come on for at least 5 minutes. That meet my requirement. What I've discovered, and this is across the multitude of industries that I've been in, most of my success came out of just showing up, just being there, just doing the work, just kind of executing, and hopefully it will result in you getting where you want to go eventually. Not necessarily as fast as you thought you potentially could, because you have days like today, but you do. And you know what? That's a perfect lead into my favorite topic for the next few days, which is our anthology, the graphic novel anthology. And for those of you that are in it, and you know how much work has gone into it, and that for us that are part of this project, especially the folks like Tony Lee and um, Robert Napton, this has been a project that has been all we've been working on for like 2.5 years. And honestly, in the case of Tony Lee and Robert, they've been working together for decades, and their working relationship, what we're doing in this anthology, you could tie back to that. But I digress. What I think is important is that when you set out on a big comprehensive project like this, where you don't even really know how it's going to be executed, is that you do a real simple plan, you get the right people, and you keep doing that work that you can do. There's always going to be deviations. I mean, the thing we're dealing with right now is, we're still not funded. Now, the good news is I've had several people that have, done some analysis on the Kickstarter, and they're like, oh, it's not going to be a problem. In fact, you're going to go over the thing by, 5 or 10 grand, which is great. And again, how I feel about this project is it's emotional, in the sense of it's not good or bad. It's just, um, apprehension about the fact that it hasn't gone the way I expected it to go. It's those expectations that you have. Uh, that I just want to share that, because anybody that is doing a Kickstarter like this, you're going to have these things. You're going to have days like this, right, where it's not going how you thought it would go. And what do you do about it? Well, what you do is you just do the thing you said you were going to do, right? So today I reached out to 5 or 6 different people, um, asked them if they could help out on our campaign. I also we did an email blast to our list, which was like 19,000 people. That resulted in sales, um, pretty decent sales. I did some optimization of the ads. Our ads are running really well. In fact, I think that for those of you that are authors that are following this and going to be coming to Author Nation, we're going to be uh, delivering some pretty innovative stuff that nobody else um, has done before around advertising. Um, and really helping people think through ads and marketing and branding, um, in a holistic, systematic way that frankly is going to free you from um, a lot of the mistakes that are designed into just trying to scale an ad and thinking about, return on ad spend and thinking that you're going to find the magic ad that's going to turn your whole author business into a full-time. The reality is that there may be a good period of time where you shouldn't advertise, and maybe the first places where you are spending some ad spend isn't on Amazon, uh, or sending meta ads to Amazon, but it's spending money to get people to a platform like Kickstarter where you can see a conversion and you can identify that the sales are actually happening, and you can send that information back to the robots at that platform. So I know this is more author facing, in the weeds business operations, but the reality is this is what a lot of you guys that are backing the campaign are doing. Just you want to see this project go, because if someday you're going to be able to see your work turned into a graphic novel, this one's got to work, right? And so let me, while we're here, I just get a quick update on where we're at with our Kickstarter. Um, so we're at 73% funded. Averages running about 60 an ad, or 60 a purchase is our average pledge. A lot of this information I'm not going to show you because it's not really your business. But what is interesting here is you can see how this is breaking out, and the longer our campaign is going on, the less that Kickstarter is actually able to take credit for, the more our group and our advertising is driving stuff. And I'll say this also because we've seen this a couple times. There's a couple of our authors that with big lists that didn't do the right thing with our referral code. It's, technical glitch. When that happens, Kickstarter takes credit for all those sales. They get buried in their information. They're just they don't know where to put it. So I guess they just throw it in their category, which just understand that when you're looking at how many new customers you're getting, some of those may be ones that you developed, that they just happen to come over and sort of remember the project, and they put in, parallel truths, and boom, up it comes. And that's going to be shown as a search result, right? Even though they maybe came off an ad, seeing a post or something else. So, but we're 8 days out, and we're sitting around the 33,000 mark. So we're really confident we're going to clear this. It's just got to keep doing the work, and that's really what this whole podcast, and I said I was only to do 5 minutes. That was going to be kind of my threshold to prove, to meet my personal commitment. I'm closing in on 10 minutes here. And I'm going to wrap it up pretty quickly after that. If there's any takeaway, it has nothing to do with the Kickstarter per se. It has to do with, if you have an objective, what you want to do with your writing career, with a project like a Kickstarter like ours. It's okay that sometimes you have days. Like today, I'm not 100%. I don't feel like I'm 5% at this point, with the time changes from the travel and this cold, that I can do everything that I would really like to do. But I did make this obligation, and it's like, okay, I can do that. And I know that if I keep doing that consistent incremental movement, it compounds over time. There's nothing more powerful in an entrepreneurial business than repetition, right? Too often it becomes about, oh, I just need to know the magic recipe, or I have to have the process that's going to give me the grand slam results, and I'll run up my credit cards to make this happen. I'm ready to do anything. It's like, no, hate to break to you, but what it is about just tending the field, right? Planting the seeds, watering it, picking the weeds, and doing that and doing it. And one morning you wake up and you've got seedlings, and then you keep doing it, and little pretty soon you're busy as hell because you got to harvest. You've got a full field of whatever you've planted. It's the time in between and those expectations, the expectations you have on yourself to, that you should be able to keep going 100% all the time. And it's just not true. So, not a lot going on. We'll do a few of these. I do want to say this. There's going to be one of these we do on Monday morning in the US. It's in the afternoon in the UK. We're going to have, I definitely know we're going to have Paul Ian Cross. I'm sure we're going to have an artist on the project. And I think that'll be fun to kind of just have these two creatives talk about this process. And, one of the things I was thinking about is maybe we do and I'd love to, if you see this, comment on this if you think this is a good idea. What if we did kind of an author-based creative tier? We could just run it for a short period of time, but if you back at least the ebook at $15, we give you access to some videos and content around what it's like to write a comic book. So not how to launch this kind of thing, because we'll do that separately as part of our Author Nation content, but pulling together some of this cool stuff that we've found out in how impactful this process of writing a script for a comic, and then working with an artist interpreting that script, what that does to make your fiction writing or your non-form prose suddenly exposed to constraints that you didn't have before, right? And for those of you that are Author Nation multiple attendees, you'll know that we had a whole thing about the cubic curiosity and how constraints actually make you more effective in your creativity when you have things that limit either in time or what you can, what the outcome is going to be, and what the stakes are. You'll end up with the results you're really looking for, and far more creative results than if you just have kind of infinite access to doing whatever you want, especially with time. We tend to procrastinate, or at least I do. Anyhow, with that, thanks. Who's that? Just BCWI for dropping in. We'll see if we get some comments on these posts later, but I'm going to sign out because there's no more gas in the tank. Thanks a lot, everybody.